here at IGN we were sent 3 mechanical gaming keyboards. We got the HyperX Alloy Origins, the BlackWidow V3 by Razer, and this 10 keyless pretty baby right here, the Roccat Vulcan TKL. Now we're gonna see if any of these might replace the current daily driver that you use, not just for gaming, but just for like surfing on the internet. Like for me, that would be the Ducky 1-2 Mini, which I customized myself. I'm all about customization. You know, if you're gonna have a keyboard on the desktop where you're playing your games, you want it to look pretty, especially if you're a streamer. So yeah, let's jump into this and see what these mechanical gaming keyboards are all about. Now, first we're gonna be taking a look at the aesthetics of each of these mechanical gaming keyboards. What are we working with? Well, first, let's take a look at the HyperX Alloy Origins. Now, right out of the box, you got the keyboard, of course, and the USB-C to A cable. Now, visually, I gotta say, I really dig this one. You know, it's got a nice brushed aluminum base, which gives it that premium feel, and it gives it some weight. Out of the 3, this one feels the most solid in hand. Although, you're not gonna be holding it, you know, like this, but again, it has like a very heavy feel to it. Also, my producer Red, he digs this one too, and all the B-roll that you're seeing is from him, just to let you guys know. So in case you see 2 different colored hands, that's the reason why. Anyways, now you of course got the rubber feet on the flip side of this for sturdiness, and the usual flip out legs, you know, to kind of give it that subtle angled raise when you're typing or just playing your games. Now taking a look at the Razer BlackWidow V3 Pro, this one comes with a USB-A to C cable, a wrist rest, and a 2.4 gigahertz wireless dongle, which you'll find kind of just tucked right here in this compartment. Just pop that open, boom, plug it right into your PC. Now this one has an aluminum plate top, which is obviously different from the HyperX Alloy Origins. I personally like just the overall aluminum base that the Origins has. I think that one makes it more premium than just having a top plate. But you know what? It's totally fine. You also, of course, you have the kick out flip stands on the back of here too. Now the Razer BlackWidow V3 Pro is the only wireless keyboard out of the 3 that we're gonna be talking about. So you don't have to worry about any sort of like cable management. Just make sure it's charged, because apparently this thing has a battery life of 192 hours. Now I know that sounds impressive, but that's without backlighting. But if you're someone like myself, an RGB bandit, I gotta tell you right now, that brings it down to 13 hours of battery use. So again, like if you're gonna be rocking this with RGB, which I know you guys are turned on if you're a gamer, make sure it's charged up. Now the Vulcan TKL has a similar treatment to that of the BlackWidow V3 Pro, just having an aluminum plate upper. This one is actually an anodized aluminum upper plate and comes with a USB-C to A cable. Now I really like the 10 keyless form factor of this particular design. Y'all already know I'm rocking a Ducky Mini on a daily basis, not just for gaming, so this one really feels the most at home for me personally. Like I know though, for other people that might not necessarily be used to such tiny keyboards, getting used to this will definitely take some time. But you know, if you're on the market for a mini keyboard and looking, this one might be up your alley, the Vulcan TKL. But we're gonna see if this is an option for you. Let's dive deeper into things. Now, one of the things that the BlackWidow and the Vulcan TKL has that the Alloy Origins doesn't are media dials. This allows you to increase, decrease volume on videos that you might be watching. And I think that's like a nice feature to have, but not necessarily something that should make or break your decision as far as choosing a mechanical gaming keyboard is concerned. Now, when you look at each of these keyboards with their black bases and keycaps, they don't necessarily scream gaming keyboards outside of, you know, some of the subtle branding on each. But it's when you plug these bad boys in, bam, look at that. The RGB lighting kind of gives way to its true capabilities. Woo, look at that. So moving on to the RGB lighting features of each with the Alloy Origins, you have 3 modes of RGB lighting effects you can kind of just cycle through by pressing FN and either F1, F2, or F3. Now you can also customize them even further using HyperX's Ingenuity software, along with messing around with their game mode and macro settings. Now, not to be undone, the BlackWidow V3 Pro also allows you to program and customize the keyboard through something called Synapse, which is Razer's software engine. Now, the Vulcan TKL, whew, look at that right there. shining so bright. Now the Vulcan TKL also has a software suite for customization, and it's called Swarm. Gotta say, love the name Swarm, really good choice there. Now these programs that each of these have, the software, they allow you to fully customize your keyboard's lighting effects as well as remapping buttons and all the other programming you need or you'd want to make to kind of like make these things unique to you. Now I have to say, out of the three, the Vulcan TKL Pro takes the proverbial multicolored cake. I mean, look at this. When it comes to the RGB lightings, this one really shines through, and it's because of the Vulcan TKL's super low profile Titan switch design. Which brings us to our next discussion point when it comes to picking a good gaming mechanical keyboard, the keycaps and switches. But I wanna make sure that I provide you all with some context of what I'm talking about before I kind of just start talking about it, because not everyone is a keyboard warrior. So these mechanical keyboards and just mechanical keyboards in general each have a base called a switch, which is either linear, which gives a very smooth feeling from top to bottom when pressed, tactile, which has a bump in the middle of the key when you press it, and my favorite from a responsive and sound perspective, clicky, where you get that bump in key travel along with an all too satisfying click sound when you press the buttons. Now the Alloy Origins is working with the clicky in this build. So nice, love it so much. The BlackWidow V3 Pro is working with tactile and clicky. So you've got, it's not as satisfying as that one right there. And the Vulcan TKL is a nice and quiet linear. See? It's still kind of loud, but not as loud as the clicky. Now, back to the comparison. Now, if you're anything like me or any of your favorite Twitch streamers, you want your keyboard looking fancy. I mean, do I need to show this again? Just look at my Ducky. Look at this thing. I bought the keys myself. Now, fortunately, if you want to use either the Alloy Origins or the BlackWidow V3 Pro as your daily driver, you can simply pop off the stock keycaps and customize it with double shot, ABS, or PBT keycaps. So what are double shot, PBT, and ABS keycaps? Well, let's start with double shot. Double shot keycaps are simply two layers of plastic molded together, letting those RGB lights just shine on through the lettering. ABS is a strong type of plastic used for keyboards that's more common because it's cheaper to produce and it's impact resistant, so it'll hold up to your fingers just beating on those keypads. And then there's PBT, which is one of the hardest, most durable materials for keycaps. Now, looking at all of these keyboards, they each have similar key stems, pretty much identical to the Cherry MX Red. So you can take any pre-existing keycaps that you might already own and swap them out on any of these keyboards. Although I'll tell you all right now, let me just warn you about the Roccat Vulcan TKL. Due to its low profile design, you're gonna have a very hard time. Unfortunately, with this one, the Vulcan TKL, you're stuck with the basic black keycaps, which unfortunately limits customization options. And I looked on the internet to see if there was a company that kind of makes these types of keycaps that will fit the Vulcan TKL. Couldn't find one. I don't know if you all are out there, if you're familiar with the Vulcan TKL, if you could find one, let me know in the comment section down below. But yeah, otherwise you're stuck with, you're stuck looking basic. All right, now let's talk about probably the most important aspect of each of these gaming keyboards, and that's how they do while gaming. Now, when you're jamming on PUBG or Call of Duty or any FPS game for that matter, what you're most concerned with regarding a good keyboard is the actuation point, which is the key travel distance where the key is actually recognized by the keyboard. So essentially, that's how hard you need to press the keys in order for your actions in-game to be recognized. Now, with a 1.8 millimeter actuation depth on the HyperX Alloy Origins, I noticed my actions in-game happen a whole hell of a lot sooner, which was dope. Now, the Alloy Origins is also compatible with the PS4 and the Xbox One, which is pretty dope. If you guys, if you are so inclined to use a keyboard while gaming on console. Now, the Razer green switches on the BlackWidow V3 Pro will provide you with a 1.9 millimeter actuation point. Now that's only slightly faster than a Cherry MX Red, which provides you with 2 millimeters. But it's not as fast as the Alloy Origins over here, but that's by what, 0.1? I doubt you'll even notice the difference. Now the Vulcan TKL rocks the Titan Switch optical, which will give you 1.4 millimeter actuation, which is faster than both the Alloy Origins and the BlackWidow V3 Pro. Now that's pretty damn sick, Now, but I gotta tell you guys right now, this is given the unique design of the Titan Switch, which really shouldn't come as a surprise. So if you're looking for a good mix of speed and responsiveness, then you're probably gonna be looking at the Vulcan TKL. So which of these keyboards is right for you? Now, I talked to my producer earlier this week. It was really funny. Before we actually filmed this, we both landed on the same personal preference. I was like, on the count of 3, which one do you think is the best after spending quite some time with these? And we both landed on the same one, the HyperX Alloy Origins. The brushed aluminum all around, the HyperX blue clicky switches, and the fact that I can customize the keycaps to my liking all made this one a must-buy for me personally, and one I can see not exactly replacing my daily driver. I'm sorry, baby, nothing's gonna replace you, but definitely in addition to this bad boy right here, I'm gonna be using this. Now don't get me wrong, I really like both the Razer BlackWidow V3 Pro for its wireless capabilities and the minimalistic compact design of the 10 keyless Vulcan TKL, but as far as meeting everything I need in a mechanical gaming keyboard, well, the HyperX Alloy Origins just checked more boxes than these two did. But you might be looking for something a little bit different in features than I am personally in a gaming keyboard. And one of the other keyboards that we discussed today might fit that bill. Speed and responsiveness might be on top of your list, as well as minimizing the amount of real estate on your desk. So then you might want to take a look at the Vulcan TKL. That might be up your alley. Let's talk about pricing. We did not discuss pricing yet. Now, I'm gonna ask you all watching, which one of these do you think is the cheapest? Go ahead, guess. I'm reading your comments, go ahead and guess. I'll tell you right now, it's the HyperX Alloy Origins at $109.99. This is proof that you don't always need to pay more to get quality equipment. I was surprised too. I was like, this one is the most affordable out of the 3? No way. I didn't freak out like that really, but I was just surprised. I was really surprised. And then coming in next, mid-range, we have the Roccat TKL, which is $129.99 as the mid-range, and the Razer BlackWidow V3 Pro on the higher end at $229.99. So what do you think of these keyboards? If you're on the market for a new mechanical gaming keyboard, let me know which ones you might be interested in. Doesn't have to necessarily be any of the ones that we discussed today, but I want to know what other mechanical gaming keyboards are out there on the market that you all might be interested in. And as always, we'll see you all in the next one. And of course, keep it right here on IGN.